Hello guys, RockSchopp's speaking. Christmas is behind us, and behind us are 3 days of aggressively shoving food into our face. Now that we're all full and feel disgusting and lazy and tired, it's time for me to tell you about my favorite records that have been released in 2018. These are 12. For a second I thought about showing the number with my fingers, but then I realized that's not possible. Intelligent me. Yeah, my favorite records that have been released in 2018. Let's go. Disclaimer, of course, this is very subjective. This is my personal view on all of these albums. Some of you may think, how can you rank this album higher than this other album because this is way better than the one you ranked higher, but it's just my personal choices. So let's go. Number 12. On the bottom of the list we have Black Labyrinth by Jonathan Davis. Of course, he is the lead singer of Korn. All of you should know him. If you don't, listen to Korn or listen to this album. It is good, even though it's on the bottom of my list. Yeah, this doesn't mean that it's a bad album. It just means that I like the other ones better. It's actually pretty good. It's just that I didn't really spend that much time listening to it, so that's why I couldn't get this special connection to the album. But it's good. It has really cool songs on it, really catchy songs, really catchy choruses, catchy rhythms, or groovy rhythms, I should say. Can a rhythm be catchy? I think it can be. Catchy riffs. Yeah, groovy riffs. You know what I mean. It's basically like Korn, but a little bit poppier, a little bit less heavy because of the because the band is missing. Of course, there are guitars and drums and bass on this record, but it's just not that. It's not always that much metal like you have it in Korn. You know what I mean? Yeah, it has on a few songs. It has some really interesting influences sound-wise, like percussions and instruments that sound pretty Middle Eastern-like on the songs like Final Days, I guess it was, and of course Basic Needs. The only problem I had with the album is what it is. The lead single had me have high expectations, and the album couldn't really live up to them. So yeah, I listened to the album the first time, and I thought I expected more. But yeah, my favorite songs would be Walk On By, Your God, The Secret, Basic Needs, and What It Is. Let's move on to number 11. So number 11 is an album which I don't have here because it in the initial release I think it hasn't been released on CD. In the meanwhile, I think it was released on CD, but back then when it came out in summer, there was no CD release, only LP and stream or download. It is Dictator by Darren Malakian and Scars on Broadway. Same thing as for the other record is for Black Labyrinth. I didn't really spend that much time with listening to it, so the special connection to the album is missing. I just listened to it the other day again to refresh my impressions, to express my opinion on it better. It is a cool album. As you can see, I'm a System of a Down fan, so of course I listened to this album, and it has some really System-ish tones on it. Like when you hear this album, you can really see the influence that Darren had on the writing of Mesmerize and Hypnotize by System. Mesmerize is definitely one of my favorite records of System. I think it's fighting for the number one spot with Toxicity all the time, but most of the time my favorite record I would consider Mesmerize. Yeah. It's a cool record. It's a heavy record. You have some, like I said, really System-ish tunes on it. My favorites would be Dictator, Lives, Guns Are Loaded, and Talking Shit. Let's move on to number 10. Number 10 is another record which I cannot show you here because I didn't buy it as CD, which is strange because it has been released on CD, but and normally when a new record goes out, I go to the store and pick it up, but they didn't have it here, so I was too lazy to order it, you can say. I think I will do it in the future because I am a CD collector, and I am mostly using CDs for listening to music while working out, because I have an old stereo in my workout room which doesn't support like Bluetooth or aux, so I have to use CDs. And this is a record that I could really, what I would like to listen to while working out is True Rockers by Monstertruck, the Canadian hard rock, stoner rock band. I think you could categorize them as this. Record's pretty cool. At the first listen, it was a bit of a letdown because I think some songs sound a little bit uninspired and generic compared to the other two records. But in general, it's really strong record. You have the typical epic track with Undone. Like on the first record, you have For the Sun, which is basically the reason why I re-listened to this band after hearing them as opening act for Billy Talent a few years ago, because I played this song live and I absolutely loved it. So on the second record you have Black Forest, and now we have Undone, which is also one of my favorites, but we get to this in a second. Many people were complaining that this lead single Evolution sounded too radio friendly and isn't really Monstertruck-y, but I think it's a pretty good song, and the record in general is like, you have the grooves, you have the catchy melodies and the choruses, and like, it's pretty good. My favorite songs are Evolution, Young City Hearts, Undone, and my absolute favorite, Devil Don't Care. Let's get on to number 9. Next one, we have it here on CD. Year of the Tiger by Myles Kennedy. I'm a pretty big Alter Bridge fan. If you know my song cover videos, I have the Tremonti SE PRS guitar, I have PRS 1x12 cabinet, the Mark Tremonti signature for my amp. I have, I don't know, I made a few covers of Alter Bridge. So this record, it was kind of the same problem as with Black Labyrinth and Dictator. I didn't really listen to it that much, so I had this special connection to some songs, but not to the whole record, which is a shame actually, because the record is amazing. Like, you have Myles Kennedy on vocals, you know the record is gonna be amazing because he's one of the best vocalists of our time when it comes to rock or metal. It's an untypical style when you think of the singer of Alter Bridge, but yeah, maybe this was one of the reasons, or one of the main reasons I didn't really spend that much time with listening to it, because it's like not the style of music I listen to, like I can listen to in that many situations. It's like when I'm walking outside or sometimes when I'm laying in bed or reading. Yeah, that's the only situations I really listen to this record. So yeah, but it's great, it's really great. I love the instrumentation, the sound, the kind of sound the instruments use, like the slide guitar, resonator guitar, acoustic guitars. You can hear a lot of classic like Telecaster sounds and stuff like that. And also the mix, the way they put this instrumentation together and present it to you. Really enjoy this, and yeah, especially when you like listen closely, all the different instruments and like little stuff you can recognize. Yeah, my favorite songs of this record would be Devil on the Wall, Haunted by Design, The Ghost of Shangri-La, and The Great Beyond. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8, Disturbed, Evolution. This record, when the first single dropped, Are You Ready? I was like, oh god, no, please don't release Indestructible again with another title. It was like it really sounded like a song that has already been released by them many years ago. Like, many Disturbed songs suffer from this, but when I heard Are You Ready for the first time, it was like the most generic lead single metal song that I could imagine. Like, it was, I didn't like it at all. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times and I was like, nah, let's see what the next single brings, but this is, yeah. In the meantime, I grew to like it, but only in special situations, like when I put the record in while working out. It's like, yeah, it's good for pushing forward and working out, but I don't think that I would ever say like, oh, I need to listen to Are You Ready by Disturbed now. But the other songs on this record, or some other songs on this record, are definitely so much better than this. Like, they have shown here that they can evolve, they can take a step forward without losing their signature sound or losing too much of their signature sound, and they can also explore some new territories. Like, the amount of acoustic songs on this record is actually pretty high, which is cool, but at the end of the record, it's like too many of them. There's like hard song, acoustic song, hard song, acoustic song. This gets a little bit, I don't want to say boring, but yeah. My favorite songs on the record would be In Another Time, Watch You Burn, A Reason to Fight, and at the number 1 spot, No More. This song is just amazing. It's the groove, the aggression, the catchy chorus is like, love it. Moving on to number 7. Number 7, The Now Now by the Gorillaz. This is not very metal at all, but Nonetheless, it's a great record. I didn't really expect them to release a new album this year because they released Humans last year, which I wouldn't consider it my favorite Gorillaz album at all. It had some cool moments, really, really good songs like Saturn's Bars, but it had too many features, too little of actual Gorillaz, or 2D, like Damon Albarn singing himself. Yeah, this is much better in this way. It sounds more organic. It has a lot of 2D, a lot of Damon Albarn on vocals. It has only 3 features, and 2 of them are in one song. So yeah, it's the most of the time it's just really 2D. I always wanted to say it's a little bit too much 2D. They could have distributed features on these last 2 records a little bit more balanced. So a little less features on Humans and a little more features on the Now Now. But nonetheless, great album. And actually might be one of my favorites by Gorillaz to this point. Favorite songs are Humility, Hollywood, and Sorceress. Let's move on to number 6. Number 6, and we get back to the more rock-like part of the spectrum of music I listen to, but not that much rock. It's like a combination of electronic and rock. It is Simulation Theory by Muse. Yeah, after the first single was released, like back in 2017, it was Dig Down. I thought, oh, they re-released Madness. Oh wait, that's a new song. I didn't really listen to it much, I didn't really like it. But when they released Thought Contagion, I was like, boom, that's it. I can say that this album is really strong. When I first put it in and listened to it while driving to a rehearsal, I got through the first half of the record and I was really blown away. It's really much electronic stuff, really little rock guitar stuff, at least from what I heard, but nonetheless it's really pushing and has a good 80s vibe, has a good combination of different styles, and I really like it. Yeah, my favorite songs are Algorithm, The Dark Side, Pressure, and Thought Contagion. Let's move on to number 5. When we get to the top 5 now, oh my god, it's the tension is rising. Which albums will be next? I can show you what's next. It is actually a pretty unmetal record, and if anyone would have told me a few years ago that I would ever even think about owning a record by this band or listening to liking any songs by this band, I would have thought they're crazy. But yeah, a few friends of mine got me into them this year, and I've grown to like them. So here is Trench by 21 Pilots. Yeah, I got this and I was really surprised how good it was actually. I mean, this comes from a metalhead that didn't ever think about listening to 21 Pilots. I had this image of them like these chart pop guys that consider themselves or are considered a band. I don't know. I didn't really know what to expect from 21 Pilots before I listened to them. But like I said, I'm surprised how good it is. My favorite songs would be Nico and the Niners on the number 1 spot, Neon Gravestones, Morph, and My Blood. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, and this is the point where many of you might start writing the hater comments down below because they think, how stupid are you? What kind of musician or what kind of music fan are you that you put this record over Simulation Theory, over Year of the Tiger? How can you rank this higher? Are you... Yeah. Musically, you're right. But from a personal standpoint, or how the songs grew on me and how they... I'm not saying influenced me, but how what effect they had on me, I have to rank And Justice for None by Five Finger Death Punch on number 4. When I'm working out or when I'm driving in the car or playing video games, it's like this album was really my not number 1 choice, but one of my number 1 choices. Like songs with these types of aggression and rhythm and groove, and sometimes you just need it. Of course, the lyrics are sometimes over-exaggerated and a little bit juvenile, but come on. Life's too short to bug about juvenile lyrics. Like, yeah, they sound like if Monster Energy or Mountain Dew was a band, but who cares? I still enjoy them. My favorite songs of this record are Trouble, the cover of Gone Away from The Offspring, which is really amazing. My favorite song is by far Champagne. And I also like the cover of Blue on Black. Yeah. Oh boy, we get into the top 3. Number 3, as you can see, I'm a big Linkin Park fan, so when Chester passed away last year, it hit me really hard. He was a big influence. So you can already imagine what album I'm going to show you right now. It is, of course, Post Traumatic by Mike Shinoda. I even got the special edition of the album with the art book, which is somewhere in the back here. I actually wanted to show it in the video, but nah, I'm too lazy to get up now. Yeah, we have this album. What should I say? It's Mike Shinoda. It's like the best of both worlds, considering the music of Linkin Park and Fort Minor. We don't have any hard rocking songs on this album, but I honestly, who would expect this when Mike Shinoda makes an album that there would be any like metal songs on it? I wouldn't expect it, but it's not bad. It's nothing bad. It's a great album when you like the hip hop side of Linkin Park, when you like Fort Minor and the more calm stuff, chill stuff. What I really like about the album is the choice of feature guests. I was surprised how much I like the K-Fly feature on Make It Up As I Go. Machine Gun Kelly is dope on the record, and my favorite feature by far is Cheeto from the Deftones in Lift Off. My favorite songs would be Make It Up As I Go, Hold It Together, which is a song that reminded me the most of Fort Minor, especially the song Believe Me. My top favorite is Lift Off, and Nothing Makes Sense Anymore. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is a bit weird, considering that I'm making this video in English and I'm addressing an international audience, but I'm German, as you may know, so I couldn't get around including a German album in this list, and this is it. Number 2 is the album Survivor by the German rap artist Jay Jiggy. Jay Jiggy got most of his fame from competing in one of the biggest internet rap battle tournaments here in Germany, the Junior's Block Battle. I really liked his style back then, and I got back to his music like somewhere this year, and I discovered his album, which has been released like in, I think, January or February, I don't know, like the beginning of 2018, and it was the first time I actually heard some of his original music. This really surprised me with the content of the lyrics. He has a few songs where he's talking shit and talking trash and like just dropping funny lines and stuff like that, and great wordplays, and yeah, but he has some more serious tracks dealing with depression, anxiety, addiction, and therapy and stuff. Themes that I can relate to in some points. So yeah, for me it was obvious that I had to listen to this record and really enjoyed it, and I really enjoy it still. I would recommend to you, if you like hip hop and rap and like a good flow, good attitude, good delivery, and good wordplays, even if you're like international audience and don't really understand German, but he has really strong delivery, really cool flow, really old school type of flow, really old school type of beats and stuff like that. It's really great. You should check him out. My favorite songs of the record are Survivor, Was siehst du, Reiß die Hütte ab, and Astronaut. Of course, the titles are in German. So, we move on to number 1. Yeah, number 1. If you listen closely and used your brain a bit early in the video, you may already know or may already guess what number 1 is. And yeah, I think it is pretty obvious. It is A Dying Machine by Tremonti. I already mentioned how much I like Tremonti, how much I like Alter Bridge. So for those of you who listened closely early on, yeah, they could already like guess that this record had to be a number 1 because I haven't mentioned it yet. So it was pretty obvious, I guess. Yeah, Tremonti released another album. It's his first concept record. It is another record filled with catchy choruses, bashing riffs, bashing drums and guitars and everything. And his vocals are getting better and better with each and every record. Yeah, I really like the overall tone of the album. It's good balance between heavier songs and not so heavy songs. There are some epic songs, there are like some hard hitters, there are some more, I guess, radio friendly songs. There are less heavy songs. I call them less heavy songs from now on. Why not? What should I say? Great record. Favorite songs? Dying Machine, Trust, which is really great. I love this drum intro and the melody, and Drapes, and Make It Hurt, which is probably my favorite because it's the hardest hitting riff on the album. Blowing you away. Really, I really love it. So that would be my top 12 favorite records of this year. Of course, I didn't listen to all records that came out in like the metal rock scene, so there's a lot missing. But these are my choices. These are the records that I got this year. I listened to that came out. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about my ranking. Let me know what your favorite records of this year are. Can be anything. Just tell me. I would like to know. Yeah. Like I said, let me know how you like the video. Leave a like and a comment. So, see you next year, I would say. So, metal off. Have a nice day.